Hello everyone, welcome to Training Tuesdays. It is Tuesday, I've got to check the date, Tuesday the 6th of October. Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing well, how are you?
Very well, thank you, thanks for asking. We are going to be managing the Facebook chat here. So guys, if you are watching us live, please just pop us a little message. We've already had Dan Oakley, Jesse Murphy.
Jody.
Hi, good to see you all. So guys, just put a little comment in there of where you're watching us from, not necessarily the room in your house, but geographically where you're watching us, which would be great. So hi Sean, thanks for joining us. So Chris, what are we covering today, Training Tuesdays?
Yeah, so last month we were covering the power of discovering the client's needs. So today we're going to cover the next step of the sales process. Is once we've understood if we can help the client, we're going to now present. So we're going to cover presenting today.
Yeah, okay. Let's make sure we can fit each other in here. Bearing in mind this, because of the camera angle 1.5. Actually, apparently we work together, so we don't have to worry about
first one together in a while.
Social distance. It is, yeah. Okay, so today, for those of you who don't know who we are, I'm Rob Hawkes, as I mentioned. I'm the head of coaching here at ISR. I've been with the company for 5 years. And my responsibility is to work with our clients, helping them increase their sales and revenue through our program Swish, which stands for Selling with Integrity, Selling Honestly. Chris, what about yourself?
Yeah, my name's Chris Blackburn. My role here is the head of partnerships for ISR Training. Been with the business a couple of years now after 18 months of one-on-one mentoring through the company that many people will know of as well. And my role is naturally to market and partner with companies and organisations around the world.
Yeah, perfect. I love that. So we've got people from the Gold Coast, warm and sunny coast. We've got Manchester, UK. There you go. Man United Day. I'm a Man United fan. That was terrible on the weekend. Sydney, Jesse, Melbourne. Hey, Adam, welcome along. That's good to see you, mate. So yeah, we're going to be covering today presenting. So as you know, we have a negotiation ladder, which is a process of creating a customer for life. And presenting after you've discovered your client's needs. This is the point where you believe that you are able to help them. And there's a couple of ways that you can get to this point. So that's what we're going to cover today. But Chris, you wanted to talk about something that's coming up in the ISR calendar, I believe.
Absolutely. So next Wednesday, many of the guys that I can see in the comments are going to be a part of it as well. Wednesday, the 14th of October, we have our Swish Sales and Business Summit. Very fortunate to be shared by Steve Baxter, Dr. Glenn Richards and Andrew Banks, that people will know from Shark Tank, or for Sam back in Manchester, it's our Dragon's Den. So yeah, next Wednesday is a whole day with the Sharks.
Yeah, so 9 till 5 if you're in Queensland, or for the rest of the country 10 till 6. It's a full day event, and we've got 6 speakers. So the 2 ISR co-founders, Jack Corbett and Ryan Tuckwood, are going to be talking all things sales and noble art, and the consumer modern day behaviour. As Chris highlighted, all 3 of our investors, Steve Baxter, Andrew Banks and Dr. Glenn Richards, are going to be talking tech, exponential growth and successful traits of business. And then Anna Samios, who is a motivational speaker and business coach. She's going to be talking all things cash runway, and not in that order. We don't know what order they're going to be in. We're going to keep you all on your toes. And join me at the beginning for the first half an hour, as I'm going to be getting everybody pumped and motivated for it, which will be fun. So stay tuned at the end, because we're going to have a little giveaway, something to get you guys involved. We're going to get a task or something to do, and if you do it, we'll vote on the best one, and then you'll be able to win a general admission ticket. And if you already have a ticket, what can you do with it?
Give it away and add value to a client.
Give it away and add value. So stick around to the end. Bearing in mind it's digital, it's a virtual summit, so you can watch it in the comfort of your own home in your undies.
In the UK, in Australia, wherever.
Yeah, but they wear undies as well. So, all right, so let's get into the content then. So presenting, Chris, you had a couple of things that you wanted to talk about today on presenting. I had a couple of things as well, but go for it.
Perfect. So as normal, if we can all get a pen and paper at the ready, stay hydrated, and let's get into that as well. One thing that I wanted to really just touch on very briefly, I guess it's what we call the bridge between discovering the client's needs and then presenting your products and services, was running through a really effective recap. So recapping or I guess repeating back to the client what they've told you as well. And it shows that you're listening in there as well. Before we present. So the bridge between discovering the client's needs and presenting. As a rule of thumb with your recap, what you'd look to try and do is get 3 to 5 yeses from the client. So as a brief example, I'd say to Rob, thank you so much for sharing about your company. Let me just confirm firstly, you're an electrician, is that correct?
Yep.
Yep, perfect. And your conversion rate at the moment is around 10% and you're looking to get that up to 20%?
Yep.
Yep, and your average transaction is between $5,000 and $10,000.
Yeah, correct.
Perfect. And just so I can be quite clear, you've never looked at sales coaching before?
No.
Awesome. So based on everything that you've just said to me, I feel that there's a really big overlap to what you're looking for to what we teach. Based around that, would you mind if I shared my opinion with you today?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I'd look to transition into presenting that we'll run through.
That's, Ryan calls it the IBO method.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so being able to sort of suggest, well, based on what we've spoken about, I believe that this is, this is what you've said to me. This is, do you mind if I offer my opinion? And then based around what we've said, X, Y, and Z. So actually offering your opinion based on, the benefit that you believe that they're going to see.
Because we want to become the trusted advisor before we present, right? We want to be not the salesperson, but somebody that's actually going to advise on how we're going to assist, moving forward. So any questions on that, please, as always, keep it interactive. Pop the comments in the section there. But yeah, we're looking at doing a recap or bridge between the discovery and the present, and it's just reaffirming the main things that you've uncovered from the customer.
And that for me, the really simple transition is, do you mind if I offer my opinion? Mm-hmm. So if you're stuck or you're looking for a way to transition to that, they say, look, would you mind me offer my opinion? No one will ever say no. And then you can go into the recap and then start to effectively present. Don't forget as well that we don't want to present to somebody that we don't believe is going to benefit. We should only present to those that we believe we can help. Mm-hmm. So by doing your discovery correctly and then understanding around how you present your offering and service, and that could be the end of your. You could book a demo, demonstration. That could be a booking to go and visit somebody's home if you can, based on what's going on at the minute. That could be another phone call, or it could be straight into a physical presentation, like a PowerPoint or something. Yeah, it depends on how you present. Yeah. And obviously everybody presents differently. One question: if you have a digital product like ours, do you think you have to demo every time?
No. I don't believe so. No.
Why not?
Because I believe that you can build up enough value in the product and service and to be able to paint the picture of what that would look like for the client. For us, one of our core values is obviously transparency. So, a high percent of the time before people transact, I will show them the program to ensure that's exactly what they're looking for. But I've definitely brought clients on without showing them the program.
I think Adam's got a question. The B is, you'd asked the question, do you think you can benefit from what you've seen? So do you think you can see benefit? Would you benefit from what we have to offer? So the B is benefit. So what do you think you could benefit? And then O is offer your opinion.
And the I is for the idea as well.
Yeah, so do you like the idea? Yeah. So I wasn't clear on that. Yeah, so asking the 3 questions, do you like the idea? Could you see yourself benefiting from it? And do you mind if I offer my opinion?
Yeah.
But so based on what I just asked there beforehand, so you don't necessarily need to show them. So how would you then present ISR then without demoing?
In regards to?
Well, so like say you believe the academy was right for me, but how would you present to me then? Do you just tell me, like, how would you present it, and what things do you tell me? So if someone's got a product here that maybe they can't demo, as an example, how would you do it?
So what I typically do, and again for people taking notes as well, we sell 3 things, right? We sell myself, the individual, because people buy people. We sell the company, the organization that the customer is potentially going to be transacting with. And then the last thing we sell is our products and services. So the way that we present or paint the picture is actually through a features and a benefit grid. Again, not selling your favorite feature, but really giving the understanding of what the benefit of that feature is to the client, and then getting them to buy in with what we call tie downs or buying questions, whatever you've typically heard. But yeah, features and benefits of you, the company and the products and services you offer.
And I guess based on the discovery, if someone's, so I've been talking about this a lot today, but I've been rereading Brian Tracy's Psychology of Selling, and talking about like just like learning and understanding somebody's problems throughout that conversation, and then only presenting the elements in which are important to them.
Correct.
So not like you just said, not your favorite thing. Like I always speak about, I came through the ISR program 5 years ago through a boot camp. So naturally I sold and presented a lot of the boot camp when I worked for ISR, because that was what I came through, because that was all I knew. But that might not have been the best for the individuals. So yeah, so in my presentation, it'd be, well, how do you best learn? If I don't know that, if I don't know the answer to that question, I can't present effectively.
To their needs.
Yeah, I can still present. Yeah. I'm still going to present the academy as an example, but I don't know what. And also, you can get creative in the language. Like the academy that we have, just using ours as the easiest example to use, is like, even though it's an online program, it has lots of different areas. Like if you like listening to podcasts, you can download. So my question might be, if someone says, oh, well, I really like listening, I'm going to present those elements based on what I've learned from them.
So as a practical, how would you recommend the guys to build out an effective feature and benefit grid?
So just writing down 10 to 20 different language patterns and think about, okay, what is it about you, like as an example, so your role, and what does that mean? You know, so, and also always think about what's in it for the client. Why is that important to them? So you say, oh, okay, well, I'm the head of partnerships here. What does that mean? I've been in sales for 15 years. Who cares? Oh, okay. And then you put the attachment of what that means to the customer.
Correct. As an example, how would you do that? So for example, you know, head of coaching and performance. So how would that's the feature, is that you're a head of coaching and performance. So what would the benefit of that be?
So because I work with over 100 individuals and businesses personally, there aren't too many challenges that I haven't come across. Therefore, I'll be able to effectively diagnose your challenge and then coach you accordingly based on my experience. Perfect. So saving you time in the long run.
Yeah, and then how would you understand whether that is valuable to the client or not?
Through a tie down at the end of it, or a buy-in questions. So a tie down, for you guys who may or may not be aware of, is a closed question that would generate a yes response. So does that make sense? Are you following me? Are you with me so far? Is that something that you could see yourself benefiting from? Am I the kind of person that you could see yourself using? Dependent on the feature or the benefit. I'm talking about myself, and I would say, and is that the kind of, or the company, is that the kind of organization you could see yourself working with? Oh yeah, absolutely. If I've nailed that correctly, the response should be overly positive, in which case that's a big tick. And I'd move on to present the next feature or benefit around the product, the service, or wherever I'm going with that.
One thing you said as well is have like 10 to 20 features for yourself, the company and the products and services. How many would you utilize in a presentation?
That's a good question. As many as I feel necessary. I wouldn't use them all. I certainly wouldn't rattle off 20 to be there forever. Again, whatever's relevant to them. So if I know a challenge is time, then I would be like, well, you know, an example would be that the academy, again, I'm using as an example, not pitching it here, but like you can log in anywhere, anytime. So it doesn't matter what time of day. We can all find 15 minutes of the day if it was a benefit. So the fact that you can log in anywhere, anytime. So it would play to the fact that they've told me that they're struggling for time.
Of course.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So halfway through as well, we've got like half an hour is not long enough. So 15 minutes in, questions, guys. Have we got any questions around the bridging before discovering and presenting? Anything around features and benefits, tie down questions, anything at all?
There is a delay on Facebook. So if you're, if we don't answer it straight away, then that's why. So the other thing, while we will come back to questions, but I had a question earlier from Dan. Hi Dan, I think you're watching today, about presenting, like presentations, and he did basically just say that it was something that you know, he was keen on me covering. So it was just about how to do a presentation. So I guess for those of you who maybe just put a comment in there and say yes or no, but if you do presentations, then let me know if this is helpful. But some people do presentations in a formalized format, not so much in a like we would do, which could be a Zoom demo or a over the phone. Some people might actually go and pitch, or they might have a like a formal presentation. So he asked me what are some things that I would need to do in that. So for me, one of the most important things, and you can do this in any presentation actually, is frame it. So we always speak about framing using ANOT, A-N-O-T. So, and actually appreciate their time. So you might say, hey guys, thank you for coming to this presentation today. Naturally, which is the N, I've got a lot to cover today, so I want to work my way through it as quickly as possible. Over the course of the next 8 to 10 minutes, over the course of the next 45 minutes, actually frame the time.
The timestamp.
Yeah, because people get a little bit like, we do it now, 15 minutes to go, 10 minutes to go, 5 minutes to go. So it's constantly staying in control of your presentation. And then basically suggesting, this is what we're going to cover. So we're going to look at X, Y, and Z. At the end of that, you're going to walk away with A, B, C. Or it might be, you're going to learn this, this, and this. Or I'm going to cover these 3 topics. Then I'm going to open up to Q&A at the end. Does that all sound good to you? And that framing at the beginning, you might be doing a pitch to 15 people, 100 people, could be 1,000 people, could be 1 person, but just controlling that through the frame. And then, as Chris said there, time stamping, whereas you would actually reference the time that you've got left. We've got a couple of minutes to go. So what I would love to know is this. So you're always in control of the meeting or the interaction. So yeah, just a couple of tips around kind of doing a presentation. And don't forget to build value in you as well. A lot of people go headfire into a presentation, but they forget to sell themselves. Yeah. What's the level of authority that you have on that topic? And if you don't, leverage off of the person that you learned from. We do that when we do disc profiling. Alex Bonnet, who'd been doing disc profiling for 20 years. I hadn't been doing disc for 20 years. I've been doing it I've been understood it for about a year, but leveraging the person who taught us gives me the value in being able to present. So for those of you who do presentations in a way that is more formal, don't forget to do that, especially if you're pitching investors, raising capital. Frame it and frame what you'd like at the end as well, and also what they're going to take away.
Do you feel that the framing can be utilized for people that may not be more formal though?
Yeah, you could just conversationally say, hey, I appreciate you sharing with me today, Chris. Naturally, everything that you've spoken to me about is really important. Obviously, I want you to walk away with something that's going to help you in your business. And typically what most people do is they either choose 6-month and 12-month option, but you could use it very conversationally, and then present off the back of it. Of course, for sure. So
Dan's on there as well.
Dan said, Dan
I do it with my kids too. Andy, brilliant.
Well, that in itself is a good point to suggest that what not just what we teach, but communication in general is something that you can use across the board. So. You might be presenting a solution to your kids around something, so you've got to build the features and the benefits around your idea, perhaps. So I think it's important that you we know what we're saying and framing it. So absolutely. Any more questions? Please feel free to throw them at us. We've got again, we're going to frame the time. We've got about sort of 8 or 9 minutes before we finish. Plus, we've got the little giveaway at the end, which I'm excited about getting you guys to do something a little bit different to try and win a ticket. But a couple of other things that you wanted to cover today.
Yep. So we've obviously got the features and the benefit. Again, people. The people buy on emotion. So we want to build the logic and obviously build the emotion with the features and the benefits in between the two. So if there's any sort of language patterns that you guys want to utilize with your own features, we understand that you may have an abundance of products and services at your disposal as well. What I'd recommend, very similar to us, we don't just offer a one-size-fits-all program. So looking at your features and your benefits of each individual product. Obviously, if you want any assistance or any questions, then please feel free to connect with myself and Rob on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah, and I think the key when you are going through that is just be mindful of, okay, well, how much information have you shared? Mm-hmm. Have you shared too much? Because bearing in mind the presenting of the actual service or product, it doesn't have to be that detailed, really. Because if you've already understood and discovered their needs correctly and well enough, then really the presentation should be almost like it's like a formality. Like it should, and for example, if you sell cars, then the presentation of the actual car might not be like the test driving. It's all done in the conversation beforehand. What are you after? What do you want? And in fact, most people, when they buy a car, they go onto a website and they put in all of what they want, and it pings them out a few different search results. My wife and I are looking at moving. I know you're also doing the same. When you go onto realestate.com, you put in your criteria and then the presentation. So when you go and view it, you're already there. So it's actually about, can they then present to you the things that you want out of a home for you to then go and purchase it or rent it, whatever. So I think it's really important that you're understanding that the presentation, yes, it's important, but it isn't the be all and end all. How would you then sort of end your presentation? So let's say you're going through it, you're using your features and your benefits, you're tying them down, you're saying, hey, does that make sense? Are you following me? What do you do then? You presented. Obviously, we're going to talk about this next month. Yeah. But at the end of the presentation, what do you do?
So if we're looking to trial close, and something I was taught many years ago, it's very old school, but keep your powder dry, and that's something that has always stuck with me. And what that means is the same with a deck of cards. I'm not a card player myself, but using all of your cards, and then somebody else says, that sounds great. What else have you got? So by keeping your powder dry, what I mean by that, let's say, for example, as Rob shared, you've got 10 to 20 features of the product yourself and the company. I may look to use 3 or 4 within my presentation, just tailored back to what the customer is looking for. And then I'd use a language pattern such as, based around the limited bit of information that we've shared so far today, is this something that you like the idea of and see yourself benefiting from moving forward? So what I do is sort of temperature gauge that, if that's what the question you're asking there, to really see whether there's more to be used and I've saved a lot, or whether that's enough then to start looking to partner with the customer as well.
So keeping back some bits and pieces that might add more value.
Correct.
So you can also use the IBO method at that point at the end as well, rather than discovery and going, okay, would you like what I've seen so far? Yeah. Could you see yourself benefiting, and do you mind for my opinion to present? You could also use it at the end and go, well, look, based on everything that you've told me, do you like the idea firstly? Could you see yourself benefit from it? And then your opinion is, okay, I think you should go for this. You should 100%, not I think, you just, with absolute certainty, I know you're going to benefit from it. And then going forwards from there, which I think is good. So for me, like the little things, that the extras, or the things that are key in that, if you have that, a money back guarantee, or maybe don't just put all, like Chris said, don't put all of your cards out on the table. Hold a couple of things back, because they may not need those, in which case then you can keep them as a value add for later. Correct. If you present everything, there's no room for questions, and I feel like questions are a great way to get your prospect or your customer engaged, so they're involved in the conversation.
Because next month we're going to be covering the 300% rule of value, and that's off the back of, it sounds great, but send me an email, I need to speak with my partner, I don't have the time to use it, I don't know if it's going to work for me, all the objections that we get. So what we need to have is 300% worth of value to be able to typically overcome an objection as well. So we'll be covering that next month.
Which is next month. Got a question from Adam. Would you present the prices or the products first in the presentation? For me, there's 2 ways you can go about it. I like to, what we call, seed prices throughout your discovery, so that when you're talking about at the end, when you're presenting, it's not a shock. So what I mean by that is when you're going through your discovery and asking questions, so as an example, one of our key questions is to learn the average transaction value so that we can build a logical case around return on investment. So if you put your team of 20 sales staff at $5,000 a month in our training for 12 months and they make one sale back, 10 grand, you've already made your money back. That's right. But to obtain that information, I would share a little bit about ours. I would say, hey, I mean, our average transaction value is worth typically a couple of grand for an owner operator, or $5,000 a month or so for sales teams. What about you? How much is an average client worth to you? So what I've done is I've seeded the price point before I've before, and then in presentation I'm just going, well, as I mentioned earlier, it's $5,000 a month to get started, month to month, if you've got 20 staff or whatever it is. So I would and then as you're running through your formalized format, you might offer your different options. Well, we've got a month to month, a 6-month and a 12-month option for our academy. But I would have already mentioned them at some point.
Hopefully that answers the question, Adam. I'd have answered that pretty much the same as well. I think if you present the price in the first bit of the presentation before, as Rob said, you've seeded that, there's no, in the nicest way, there's no value attached to the price. So it's very hard for people to see the value. You know what it's like if you get a holiday proposal sent through, you're going to scroll to the last page to see how much it's going to cost you as well. But if you have somebody presenting each feature and benefit through that, it's going to build value naturally through the presentation. So I'd say the same as Rob, that seed that really early. We offer a range of services that can range from a few $100s up to a few $100,000. So it's different for everybody's needs. What's your average transaction worth to you? So being able to get the information out.
Give a little bit and then ask a question. Don't avoid the question, but ask another question based on that. Keep them engaged and talking as well. So
a couple of minutes to go. Hopefully that answers the question, Adam. If not, reach out and we can run through that. So as Rob mentioned, we have a giveaway next month. So next week, next Wednesday, the 14th of October, we have our Swish Online Sales and Business Summit. What's the giveaway, Rob?
So to win a ticket, and what we'd love for you to do is record a video of yourself, basically telling us why we should give you a ticket. It can be 30 seconds. It could be, Rob, I want a ticket. Or it could be, I'd love Andrew Banks. He's one of my favorite sharks. And I would absolutely love to give this ticket to a friend of mine who's in Melbourne who's really struggling at the moment. You know what I mean? Like, you could pull the heart emotional strings, or you could make us laugh. But record a video, post it up on our Facebook page, or go to the Swish movement group and post it in there, or tag us in a LinkedIn post, or tag us in YouTube. Record it and post it if you like, as long as it gets here before next Tuesday.
Record a features and benefit language pattern.
Do whatever you want. Record us a video. Tell us why we should give you a free ticket, and we will offer you a complimentary seat to the Digital Swish Sales Summit next Wednesday, the 14th of October. Feel free to do that. So a bit of engagement. Tag us in it. Tag me and Chris in it. # Training Tuesdays, whatever it is that you like. Let us know that you've done it. And even if you've bought a ticket already, we'd love to see you go out there and do that, so you can gift it to somebody else. Plus, feel free to introduce who you are in your business as well. But it's 5 o'clock here in Queensland, so it's time to go. Chris, always a pleasure.
You too, mate.
Thank you so much for everybody watching. Same time next month, 4:30 Queensland time. On the Tuesday, we're going to be covering the 300% rule of value. See everybody at the summit next week, and have a fantastic rest of your night. Take care. See you guys.